Now's an ideal time to get ready for your next trip because Chevrolet is offering a luggage rack at no charge. Here are the details. Buy or order a Chevrolet or Chevelle wagon before December 31st. You'll get a luggage rack at no charge when you order any radio equipment, soft ray tinted glass, white striped tires, outside remote control mirror, plus power tailgate on the Chevrolet wagon or power tailgate window on the Chevelle two-seat wagon. Under the luggage racks are a lot of good reasons why your next wagon should be a Chevrolet. Like the unique vanishing tailgate on the big Chevrolet wagon, and the walk-in convenience of the mid-size Chevelle wagon with the two-way tailgate. See your Chevrolet dealer about this luggage rack offer. Chevrolet wants your new wagon to be the best one you ever owned.
The other night, my son and I really fought it out, man to man. You see, we got this new model car racing set called Class A Open Track Racing. Open track means there are no slots, no lanes. Cars can pass on either side, bump, even sideswipe. But this requires split-second control. Class A racing doesn't need batteries or electricity. You gotta make pit stops to pick up your power. Well, with only 7 laps to go, I pulled off the track. But Gary ignored my advice and gambled on finishing without making a final pit stop. I was back on the track in 5.5 seconds. Good time. But Gary had gained a lap lead. Then, coming into his last lap, he ran out of power and was just coasting. I picked up a full lap and caught him right on the finish line.
Class A racing, no slots, no lanes, and it doesn't need batteries or electricity. It's ideal.
What a beautiful day for Frankenberry, the world's super sweet new cereal.
Phooey! Here's the world's super sweet new cereal called Chocula.
Virgo, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monstrous strawberry flavor.
Well, I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Frankenberry,
Called Chocula.
meow.
Frankenberry called Chocula.
You better hurry, Nancy. I'm pitching today.
Okay.
But what are you doing?
We need gas. $1 worth, please. Now for some quick starting gasoline.
What?
And then some detergent gasoline.
Nancy, you don't have to make 3 stops. Pull in here. These are Phillips 3 for the money performance gasolines. They give you quick starts, good mileage, and cleansing action. 3 for the money.
Oh, Tom, you take all the fun out of shopping.
The Performance Star.
This GAFU mess is a lot of fun. What do you think?
It's really interesting. The 3-dimensional color pictures are extraordinary. I find these how to play football reels very instructional. I always considered the GAFU master an ingenious invention of great educational value.
Gee, I always thought it was just a lot of fun.
One brash American...
Yeah, right. What is it?
plus one suave Englishman equals 2 millionaire playboys and trouble.
Okay. Excuse me, but this is money, right?
What is this?
Well, I'm not here to buy any money. I mean, I've got money.
There are lines crossed somewhere.
Well, I'll say there is, but why would I want to buy money?
What are you selling?
Well, I'm not selling anything. I'm buying. That's why I brought the money. I mean...
I'm buying.
Well, then whoever's selling isn't selling, right?
Tony Curtis, Roger Moore, The Persuaders.
There was a stranger who came into our town. He was tall and had eyes that could look right to the bottom of you. We might have welcomed him, except for one thing. His pants. They weren't dull like ours, and this troubled us. Stranger, how is it your pants have colors and flared legs? He just smiled and said, I'm wearing Levi's. Dull has gone out of style. Then in his strange way, he transported us to a world of Levi's slacks and jeans, tweeds, cords, flares with Dacron polyester. It was magic. Push jeans, blue jeans, bells. Beautiful Levi's matching coveralls, knickers, and knits. And we cried for more. No, I must go to other towns, he said, and he left. Left us with our new Levi's.
Ring the bell. That's right. Saturday Skedaddle says IRATE Prostate. It's Sunday. You know what that means. It means that the president is stepping on my show. Or the former president, actually. Anyway, I'll shut up. So you know what it means. It's Sunday. It's time for ice cream. And ice cream is a wonderful treat to most people. Each Sunday is a new flavor for me, because to me a treat is just hanging out with somebody I want to know more about, especially somebody that I like and find entertaining. And this guy, I met him a while back, and we've streamed several times now in different streams, primarily Blind Press's Star Trek stream. So we got a little Trek talk we can do a little excursion, a jazz excursion, as it were, maybe. I don't know. What's up, Mr. Dr. Functional?
Yes, my children, I have arrived. How's it going, Prostate?
It's excellent, man. I'm really pumped for this. So you know the deal. I've got questions, and I'm going to ask them. All right. So, Let's
get deep.
Yeah, she just heard the soundboard. You got the Uzi seal of approval on that one. You hear a giggle in the background, yeah, you know it. You know you scored. All right. So, you having a good day so far? Just kind of.
I can't complain, just wearing my sweats, enjoying the cold temperatures.
Oh, wow.
But I'm Canadian, so,
yeah.
We thrive in this climate.
It's 78 outside. It's a lovely day down where I'm at. So
I don't know what that is in real temperatures.
30, I would say maybe 28 Celsius.
Okay.
28, 30. I don't know.
I'm just good day.
Stabbing at numbers.
I know it's like minus 15 here, which is probably really, really cold compared to that.
Yeah. It's about, there's at some point the below zeros are about the same in one place. I can't remember where it is.
Minus 40. They converge at minus 40.
Indeed.
So,
okay.
Yeah, which is the average temperature of like Alaska.
Indeed. I would say hey to the chat before we get rolling here, man, and we'll begin at the beginning with the people that showed up first, like Gurlin, a Pirate, Pete. Greetings, sir. Becca Fairley, of course, Bam. You got to salute a member of the Creem team. Of course, Dr. Functional is in the seat there. Uzi Q, my lovely wife, and Doug. FTW Nil. Is that for the win, Nil? I don't know. For the win, 0. I like that. All right, Elwin, greetings. We can't seek if we can't get you. Yes, that was Jodie Foster. It sure was. And we're going to get you wrenched there. Ryan Walters, greeting. Johnny Bonsacco. The boom boom. Speed up, IRATE. Nobody, not me. Sir Adamantine. I think that's Trippy Cast. What's up, man? Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Don't forget to hit that like button, and we're gonna get rolling now. All right, so we're gonna go to the dog and cat room, so we can get the proper atmosphere.
All right, let me put my slippers and smoking jacket on here.
Yeah, grab a blunt, man. Just kick back.
Already ahead of you.
And chill the fuck out. All right, so I've got remember that. All right, if you've got questions for Functional, I will ask you for them towards when we're towards the end of the show. As everybody knows here, we begin at YouTube topically, and we end at YouTube topically to end the show. It's a clever design that works every time for me. Okay, and when I say clever, I am definitely being facetious. All right, so and the first thing, it's like, how long have you been around YouTube? Do you want me? Can I call you just functional? Is that cool?
Yeah. The whole doctor thing is sort of like an inside joke about the meme of like, how you identify. So I said, well, I identify as a fucking medical doctor then. Go fuck yourself.
A gynecologist?
No, like every kind of doctor. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of physics.
I got you.
I have an English doctorate.
Yes.
Like I'm just the doctor. Yeah. Oh yeah, call me functional funk, whatever.
All right, functional. Man, it's cool. I might just call you dude. It might be easier.
Yeah, I call everybody dude. I call my wife dude.
That's right. Me too, man. Yes.
Elwin's my number one dude.
Elwin, you're wrenched. All right,
yeah.
Just make sure everybody's happy over there.
Keep that wrench no state happening.
So, all right. So, what was the main reason you decided to, consume content from YouTube as opposed to other places?
Oh boy. Well, I was in advertising for quite a while, and let me just say I fucking hate advertising. So TV is nothing but ads. Buy. It drove me nuts. So for the longest time, I gave up TV. And here comes along this platform, YouTube. And within the first year, I was signed up, trying to, watch. It was very plain Jane, mostly just vlogging and stuff. So I was like, eh. And then you started getting like informational channels. So it was like, hey, this is really cool. And while I was at work or what have you, I just had that tossed on the background and listening to stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just as an educational tool, I guess, to learn stuff, learn about people, learn about things.
Cool. So what do you think is the coolest trick or life hack or what's the coolest thing you picked up from an instructional YouTube video?
Oh man, probably cooking.
Wait.
Yeah, I was a chef for a good almost decade and a half. So the stuff you learn, practically, and is basically what you're experienced to. So the stuff that I couldn't experience firsthand, you could just throw on a YouTube video, throw on more recently something like Townsend's, where I'm learning about the history of food. And incorporating some of those ideas, those base principles into home life today, and bringing back some of these flavors and these just simple ways of life that are still very delicious. It's not going to be, Chinese food or Thai food. It's going to be just simple down home American food. Okay. Pioneer food.
Got you. Yeah, there's a couple guys that do like those historical cooking shows. There's a guy, I don't know what his name is to be honest with you, but he does the like colonial era.
That's Townsend's.
Is that okay? So yeah. That's very. It's fascinating. I totally agree with you on that, man. Once he gets rolling on something, it's like, well, yeah, okay. So what did this look like? Because you read about stuff like figgy pudding. There was a thing where he literally made a figgy pudding the way they would have made it back then, and it was like, holy shit, man! It's like I dug the whole vibe of the show too, like the dedication to authenticity, man.
Yeah.
All right, so but this is about you, so we're gonna move on.
Goddamn right.
So, you talked a little bit about hamming stuff up, and so how much would you say, what's behind your persona, and how much would you say, of the real you we really actually see when you're streaming?
It really depends on the different type of stream. Obviously, yeah, I like to ham it up. I like to joke. I like to, even you said at the top of the show, people seem to like me. They seem to think I'm funny. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you people. You might want to get checked out by a neurologist, but I'm going to roll with it. And I'd say that it's mostly sort of a caricature of who I am. So you are still getting, and like any good comedy, you're getting a nugget of the truth, a nugget of reality wrapped in this enigma of just like high energy and hamming it up and joking around. Because normally, I mean, Elwin can attest to this. I'm just in my day-to-day home life, I'm kind of a quiet, reserved, just head down to the task kind of guy. When I was in the kitchen, people called me like the Canadian Gordon Ramsay because I was just like take no shit, super serious. It's like, come on, people, we're here to do a fucking job. Let's do the job and not pussyfoot around.
Did you ever tell somebody that what they created looked like the dog's dinner?
Oh yeah,
like Gordon Ramsay.
I've called people fucking donkeys and where's the lamb sauce? Where's my beef au jus? God damn it!
Man, where's the mint jelly, mother? Okay. All right, so moving on, let's see. Speaking of food, is there food from your childhood that you didn't like at all, and now as an adult you actually enjoy it?
So as you know, I like watching the show. So I've been expecting this question, and it actually gave me quite a bit of anxiety trying to think of, because my mother was a terrible cook. Sorry to say it, she was a terrible cook. My aunt was a fantastic cook, and I would say that she was the inspiration that made me want to pursue food at a very young age, probably like 6, 7, and want to be in the kitchen and help her whenever we'd go over for dinners or whatever, or try to help my mom to improve the quality of the food. But I had to go back and just say, you know what? It was meatloaf. When I was a kid, even though she didn't make it too terribly, because it's kind of hard to fuck up meatloaf, really, I just hated meatloaf. Really hated it. It probably had a lot to do with my aversion to eating meat. When I was a kid, from about that same age, about 7 till I was about 16, I was pretty much a vegetarian. I'd only eat chicken. It was the only proteins I had.
Right.
I wouldn't eat beef or pork or anything like that. So meatloaf really probably played a lot into why I didn't like meatloaf. But today, oh my God, I can't get enough of it.
No doubt.
Like, you can ask Elwin, my meatloaf, mwah, it's like 5-star. I hate to humble brag, but I mean, when people time after time after time are just like,
dude,
yeah, they're like, dude, like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, okay.
It's
cool.
like, it's really weird that you mentioned that, because Uzi, like within the past month, has dialed in this fucking recipe of like, it's like over the top, like next level type shit when it comes to meatloaf.
Nice.
Yeah, oh man, it's really good. So, and she's like that, you know, she'll take a recipe and then she'll zone it in to make it, and then boom, she'll be able to do it like that every time.
Yeah, she has the secret ingredient for love, and it shows in the dish.
Dude, she's a kitchen machine. She's incredible, and I love her
really
for
good.
it. Yeah,
that's really good, because in our dynamic, Elwin is kind of not very good in as far.
Hey man, exactly, yin and yang, dude. Exactly, you know.
But I'm a whiz. Like, again, she's like, it's like watching this like machine made out of water. It's just fluid. I'm just going anytime. I was actually the head catering chef for the last stint of my kitchen career. I've since retired. Yeah, she can burn water, trust me. So I never really worked the line very much, and we had a little changing of the guard, change of the head chef. And one day, like, they were severely understaffed. People needed to take a break, and they'd been on the line for, like, I think it was at the time, like 6 hours straight. And then they're like, hey, Funk, can you get on the line? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm just head down, doing my shit, super serious, bang, 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 bang. He turns to me, he's like, who the fuck knew you could bang on the line? I'm like, you never put me on the line. And, you know, I can do it. I just don't like to. That's, you know, I paid my dues. I don't have to do the shit jobs anymore. I'm, you know, in the hierarchy of things, I'm like just directly under him. I only really report to him as head chef. And if I need to help, I help. But otherwise, I'm in the back doing my own thing, preparing for the next big function.
Right. Because you're functional. Like
well,
that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had this moniker since the internet was born. No. It's completely true because, you know, for the longest time, people are like, damn, like you're like this fucking tool, man. You just like things become functional when you're around. And juxtaposition to that was I was really into, you know, the raving scene and everything. And I experimented with a lot of different drugs. And my friends would be like, everything but alcohol. I could be completely straight-faced. I could act completely highly functional while completely out of my gourd on like LSD or something.
Interesting.
So it just kind of stuck.
Okay. And we're probably going to come back and talk a little bit more about that living chemically or living through chemistry. Better living through chemistry is what they called it. All right.
Like drugs.
Finally got the Monsanto line out of it, right? All right. So, if you could describe your family with one word, what would that be?
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
There's just not a very good dynamic there, and it's not something. My current family is me and Elwin and our cat, and I love them to death.
Right. So what was like growing up like? What kind of kid were you? And who would you say?
I was a monster, but I was a highly intelligent monster, so I got away with a lot of shit. I put a crater about 12 feet across in my backyard. With experimenting with household chemicals, and we'll just leave it at that because YouTube doesn't like it when you talk about
I understand, yes. They don't like AMFO recipes being spouted out.
Yeah, and I mean, like, again, the birth of the internet kind of, you know, coincided with that. So as long as you kind of knew what you were looking for, I knew about the Dewey Decimal System, so I could go into the university's library and learn about chemicals and physics and all this stuff on my own time.
Indeed.
But I was a bit of a terror. I got into a lot of fights at school, mostly because I was picked on, but I didn't take no shit. For instance, one day I just had enough of this one guy who would egg me on verbally, a little bump and shove in the hallways here and there. But one day he started like just shouting behind my ear, following me home from school. And eventually I turned around and I said, dude, just fuck right off. And he took a swing at me. I hit the ground, sucker punched me, got back up, and he just walked away like thinking triumphant. And I stabbed him in the neck with a pencil.
Oh shit. Well,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't take shit. Like if it came down to violence,
yeah,
I'm going to use just enough violence to end it for good. And that kid, trust me, he never even looked at me twice in the hallway.
Yeah, I bet, man. Something about being stabbed in the neck that changes your perspective on shit. You know?
Yeah. I was pretty well picked on through my school career. Again, for being a little bit of a shit disturber, a quiet kid, but also highly intelligent.
Well, all right. So was there a person in your family that was kind of like your hub? You know, your main the person that was your main influence.
It's really interesting, the dynamic in my family, because my eldest sister is a good 20 years older than me, and my youngest brother is about, I want to say 8 or 9 years younger than me. I'm the fifth. I'm the middle of 5. And so my 2 older sisters were much older, and my mother wasn't a mother. So I was taken care of by my 2 older sisters. And they have been, for the better part of my formative years, the people I confided into when they were available. So like when I was starting high school, my oldest sister was already in university, so she wasn't around much. But when she was always the person I could be like, it's about that time where I start thinking, what am I going to do after high school? Can we sit down over some coffee and like talk about it? I need some direction. I need some help, kind of thing. And they were always there to help me and help me get through that. And yeah.
Good. So is there a favorite time of year or a holiday, specific holiday that gets you fired up, sparks you up emotionally?
I'm not a holiday guy. Like even my birthday, I'm like, it's just another day. So I escaped the womb many years ago on this day, which is kind of arbitrary in the grand scheme of how we measure time. So no real holidays, but I love autumn. I love the fall. It's just cold and crisp enough that you can wear jeans and a nice comfy hoodie and be comfortable outside. You don't have to worry about blasting the heat or the AC. It's just the smells of and this is going to sound a little morbid, but I like a little bit more of morbidity in my life. The decay of nature, the beginning of that cycle of renewal where they go into the breakdown, and then it goes into that hibernation state. Because when it comes back around to spring, summer, my allergies, they're not even that bad, but they kick my ass.
Right.
I live I don't really care, in Toronto, so I'm pretty landlocked, surrounded by fresh water. So it's not very conducive to a healthy respiratory system. Humans respond very, very well to saltwater air. So I don't really have like bad allergies, but in the spring, summertime, just all the pollen and the smells, it makes me just heavy, and I don't like it.
Right. But that smell, that aroma that you're talking about, that of fall, it's like right in the midst of fall when the trees are turning and stuff. There's a definite aroma that you touched on that's really vivid to me, right?
And especially here in my
I totally get that. I bet, man, because man, y'all get all those beautiful maples and shit. Beautiful, all the different colors, man. Yeah, the maple.
Yeah, Stan, you're not wrong. Toronto is a shithole, but you know what?
Ball busting. Y'all. Oh, man. Okay, so so if you could go back in time and talk to yourself at the age of 8, what would you tell Low Functional?
Oh boy. This was another one I was dreading. I'd probably have to say to get myself tested sooner for dyslexia, because that really held me back a lot academically. And it fed into that cycle where kids, if they're not stimulated, if they're not nurtured, they can be on the fast track to be subpar. They did all these, IQ tests and all of and they're all like, "Oh, you're such a smart kid. Why aren't you doing better?" Blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't until I was like 17 years old, they were like, "Okay, well, we're going to do a dyslexia test randomly." And they found out, I have numerical dyslexia, where numbers in my mind just sort of get jumbled. And when you do public school work, they don't care about the answers because the answers are in the back of the book. You can use a calculator, all these kinds of cheating ways. I never did, but I always got the answers right. My problem solving was always mixed up. Like if there was like, say, an 82, I wrote it as 28, but in my brain it was still 82.
Sure.
Still did the calculation fine, but then when the teacher marks it, it's like, oh, well, that's wrong. You wrote 28. And it's like, really? Fuck off.
Right. They and I'm laughing because it's ironic because they're insensitive to that shit, it's interesting how they have to test. I think it would be obvious to some teachers,
Yeah. Especially when you have somebody who is falling behind. Like they at first wanted to put me into, remedial programs, special ed. The thing was, I tested too well to be in special ed, but when it came to, your standardized testing within the curriculum, I always was, a C/B student for most things.
Is that for like elementary and from like middle school, or?
Oh, in elementary, I was A's and B's.
Okay.
I paid a little bit more attention.
So middle school is kind of where we...
high school, yeah, that's where I kind of started slipping. I wasn't really being challenged or anything like that. When we would have reading, the teacher or somebody would be reading a book, like they'd be reading I don't know, like A Wrinkle in Time or something. Even Dr. Seuss, when they'd be reading things like Dr. Seuss to us, I had already started in my own time reading Stephen King books. I'd already been reading Philip K. Dick and all these Isaac Asimov.
Right.
So it really.
So all right. So when did you find out? All right. So when did you figure out about the dyslexia, and how did you learn how to deal with that?
Well, I was about 17, and at that point, it was I kind of felt like it was a little too late to really do anything about it. How I deal with it today, I mean, it's pretty automated. Like with all the technology we have at our fingertips, it gets auto-corrected pretty easily. When my first choice after high school was I wanted to study physics, specifically astrophysics, but I didn't really have the marks to get into a program like that, so I took it a lot onto myself, which thankfully I did, because I really didn't need another teacher standing over my shoulder going, your work is wrong, and you're still getting these answers, and you're coming up with these great hypotheses, and my thesis was really good, but the second they looked at my high school report card, they were like, no, we're not letting you into the program. And I was like, okay, well, then shit. Because again, it's mostly just what's in my brain stays constant. And when you're dealing with long formula or calculations like that, it's fine. But when you actually have to present it to someone, when I have to write it down manually, that's where the connection becomes lost between my brain and like my hand. And somebody looking at that will be like, huh? That makes no sense. And I'll be like, oh. Okay, now that you pointed it out, that's where I wrote 28 instead of 82.
So
it's almost like a brain blinder.
Right. All right. So you graduate high school, and
no.
It was all right. So what happened?
My last year, we had grade 13 here in Ontario for quite a while, and I was the last year that had that. So in my grade 13 year, I still hadn't passed grade 10 math, because I stopped taking grade 10 math after they found out I was numerically dyslexic. Even though I was tutoring OAC, grade 13 level physics and calculus, or not calculus, algebra, to students who were struggling a bit. So it was just really ironic. And again, it sort of just put me off the whole academic thing. I took a good year and a half off to, when I was a teenager, I did some DJing and promoting at clubs and for raves. I toured the United States as much as I could, school trips. If I could get a gig from a friend that I met online or at a party, to spin at a club for a weekend for like $40 and crash on a buddy's couch. Oh man, I was down in New York or Chicago or Florida or wherever. And I would take these long road trips and pop into these places. Hell, I'd even walk up to club promoters on like a Thursday night and be like, hey man, I got 3 crates of records. I can spin hip hop or drum and bass or trance. Like, you throw me a couple beers, I'll play for 2 hours. Like, done. Then they can put it on their headline and put out a quick email blast or bulletin board blast. Hey, we got this DJ Trunks from Toronto, Canada. You know, becomes an instant international draw, because Toronto was really a big mecca of that scene in
Right.
North America.
Right. The big rave hub.
Yeah.
All right, so then I can assume that you're probably not going to go to the 20-year class reunion. So all right, so what happens after that? All right, so you do this DJ thing. What happened after that?
Well, my mother got stricken with multiple sclerosis, and I had to. She had to get rid of the house and move into care. Not a heavy care facility, but she was starting to slip, and that's why the tests happened. We found that out. So I had to move out of the house. I ended up moving in with a friend of a friend that I knew through that friend, a good friend of mine in high school. And I sat down with my sister and I said, hey, look, I need to do something with my life. I want to go to like a trade school or college, a community college. I want to learn a practical skill so I can make some money, because I know this DJ thing isn't going to work out. I know my art isn't going to work out, because I dabbled in, painting and photography and silly shit. So she said, well, why don't we make that your vocation? And we found out, graphic design. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know fuck tons about computers. I know art. I like art. I'm pretty good at art, whatever that means. I'm very technically inclined with computers and how to use things like Photoshop, the Adobe suite, and all those kinds of things. So yeah, graphic design seemed like a natural fit. And went through the 3-year program at a Toronto college, started getting into the field, working around, eventually worked my way up to Rogers Communications, which is one of the biggest media and telecom companies in Canada, working for Chatelaine magazine, which is basically our big women's magazine. It's the #1 magazine in all of Canada. However, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of a bit of a dude. I'm a guy.
Right.
And being in an office setting full of women was really not healthy for my longevity at the company, let's say. And they made it really hard on me.
Did you ever see Mad Men, the TV series?
Oh, yeah. It was totally like that, but just flip the genders.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, what's that little blonde's name?
I can't remember.
Okay, but that little blonde woman who, she's kind of like the little assistant, but she's got really good ideas, and they start stealing her ideas and using it, blah, blah, blah. And Stan, if I'm sitting there and I'm again very
Elizabeth
serious,
Moss.
very motivated.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Elizabeth Moss's character.
Elizabeth Moss, thank you.
Yeah. Got you.
Head down in my computer, just banging out, ads and graphical elements for the magazine and copy and all this stuff. But I'm sitting there, headphones on, listening to some tunes. Computer starts, sputtering or acting up. I'll be like, you little motherfucker, what the hell's wrong with you now, you piece of shit? And again, women, they hear that and they're like, oh my God, toxic masculinity. And so they made it really uncomfortable for me to be there. And I really didn't like the sort of modus operandi of working for advertising, because I basically got told straightforward by one of the high ups in the company, I don't care how you do it, get their fucking money. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you don't care if we lie outright about your product as long as it's going to get you money. And I started coming home and just getting sick every day after work, hating myself because I was good at what I did, but it was dishonest. And for as much of a son of a bitch as I am, I don't like dishonesty. Like, I'll be straight with you. I don't like you. I'll tell you to fucking face. I'm not going to pussyfoot around.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a look at my life. I took a couple steps back one day and I said, you know what? I should have gone with my instinct when I was 19 and gone into the culinary world, because that same sister that helped me and sort of pushed me more into the graphic design world said, oh, no, you'll hate working in a kitchen. It's hot. It's busy. You're working like 10, 12-hour days, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? When I got into that fucking kitchen, working from the bottom up, I didn't fucking care. That was paradise to me. That was my zen. I got into the kitchen. It didn't matter if I was peeling potatoes for 12 hours straight, working the line, sweating my fucking balls off. That was my zen. I got my head down. I would bang out food. I would just, that made me happy, dude. And the first time in my life, in my vocational life, I was happy. Food was it. Food made my world. And within 3 years, at the second restaurant I ever worked at, they made me head catering chef. Because of my drive, my passion, and my seriousness when I'm working. You know, before work, after work, breaks, whatever, you know, I am that kind of animated, happy-go-lucky kind of guy and jokes. But when you're working, it's serious business. Like, this is food. This is something like you have to put yourself in their position as the customer. When you're sitting down for a meal, you're vulnerable. You're trusting me to give you something that's clean and good and tasty for you to put inside of you. And that's a bond of trust I could never break. And that's why I took it so seriously. Plus, nothing made me happier than, like, you know, maybe taking a peek out of the kitchen and looking at the happy people going, oh my God, these steaks are fucking, oh, and the smiles of the people happy.
Take pride in your work. That's good. That's a good deal, man.
Yeah, because not a lot of people can get that these days. For a lot of people, it's a means to an end to support your lifestyle and support you as a person, put a roof over your head and food in your belly. To be able to find something that you truly come home and you're happy because you put in a good day's work at something you love doing, that's rare. And
yeah,
I don't care who you are, if you're out there and you find that, even if it doesn't pay well, hold on to that, man.
Yeah, because that's the difference between working and having a livelihood.
Yeah, that career.
You know that internal feeling. Even if you've got a good career and you make a shitload of money, if it doesn't align with who you are, if it doesn't fit with that, I don't know how to describe it, but if it doesn't.
Oh, I get you, dude. I totally do, because there was this kid that I used to babysit for. He had Down syndrome, and he was pretty bad. Like, I don't want to say bad, but it was pretty interfering with having a quote unquote normal life. But the day that he got a job at Taco Bell, he found purpose. He found a schedule. It made him happier. And you know what? It doesn't matter that it was fucking Taco Bell. It mattered that he had purpose and that he had drive and he was passionate about it. So I don't care if you're a fucking doctor or you're working at Taco Bell. If you're passionate for it, keep it. Do it. That's your life. That's your choice. You fucking do it.
I've never been compared to a retard before, but I appreciate that. All right, let's shift gears, dude. What was the craziest thing you ever did as a kid before we move on?
Aside from stabbing a motherfucker? Oh, fuck. Okay, so, I've already established we threw parties, big into the rave scene and electronic music and all that shit. So they were building a subway line. There's some abandoned buildings that we've sort of explored to our... They're dangerous, collapsing floors and shit, like some of these factories and mills that have since been torn down, but when I was that age. And one day we scaled the top of this thing that must have been 50 or 15 stories high, collapsing floors, all the crazy shit. And that thing was scary as fuck. To get to the top, that was crazy. That was, looking back, I'm like, dude, you were stupid. You could have fallen and died and nobody would have found you. Because in our exploration of specifically that building, we went into the basement that was flooded and there were nothing but dolls. Naked dolls in different states of decay in this floating water Fetid water. It was. Ugh.
And there a creepypasta that starts out like that or some shit?
Dude, there's so many horror movies that I'm just like, I don't even want to think about it because it still gives me douche chills today. But you know, there was a reason why we
like that.
You know, when you get that feeling of like somebody walking on your grave, that's what I call douche chills.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I just call them chill.
So we would scout these places so we could throw little underground parties, like real underground, like literally underground parties where, you know, police would sometimes come and you'd have to get everything and get the fuck out or you're arrested.
So would they be that low that you'd have to wear a hard hat to get in, or you know what I'm
saying? Sometimes, like one of the subway stations that was being built definitely would suggest wearing a hard hat. I still have my hard hats around here somewhere. Yeah. Cool.
I really do like your Judge Dredd headgear there. It's just I'm jealous. I'm jelly. I had to say something about that. All right, so
thank you. Well, I've done a lot of cosplay in my life, and that's actually my friend's helmet. It's not mine, but I took damn well advantage of it because I kind of wanted to ever since I started doing this whole YouTube shtick, have somewhat of my face being out there without just being a full face reveal.
Right. So you do a lot of cosplay. So what do you have OnlyFans? Right?
Yeah, man. You want to toss me some money for some dick pics?
No, not today.
Owen's like, yeah, you got to make some money off that thing.
That's right. All right. So all right, let's shift gears to talk about music. We kind of were jamming earlier. When I do a stream, y'all, man, it's like if you ever want to hop in and just plug in on the music, because I do have some righteous jams going before I do this. Every time I stream, it pumps me up. So anyway, but
got me pumped up,
right? And so, and we were talking about Tool a little bit. So what was your first concert, and what was the first album you ever bought?
My first concert was actually a rave at like 13 or 14, completely straight edge. Just got taken to a rave. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, and I like dancing. Like I was big into like ballroom and swing and stuff, and like more traditional dancing. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I kind of didn't really grow into it until later teen years, but the first like concert I ever went to was Rob Zombie.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they did the very first ever I think it was Family Values where he was touring with Korn. Back in like 94.
Dude, I bet that was a killer
however, gig. However, they fucked it up here because Korn got delayed, so they had to split the concert into 2 shows. So I got to see VIP backstage, baby. Because it was doing photography for the magazine, not the magazine that I was working, but for the magazine that I was working with at the time. For Rob Zombie, and then the next night, Korn, where I didn't have to do any work, didn't have to think anything, just got fucking proper sloshed, hit the pit, met some chicks, smoked some weed, just fucking partied hard, and it was great. So I consider that sort of like one concert that was just split up into 2 parts.
That's
fantastic
the right
venue.
Yeah, no shit. That's the right way to do that kind of thing, man. Too. Let's see. All right. So, do you have any guilty pleasure music?
It's funny because of like being a DJ and an artistically inclined person. I'm not a big music person. Like something comes on, like Tool's my favorite band of all time. Tool comes on, like I'm fucking rocking out. I love it. Music comes on that I like, I jam, but I just like somebody's like, oh, the Beatles were so great and influential. I'm like, well, why? They suck. Like the music just never touched me, and I found it annoying. Another hot take, Radiohead, same kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tool to me has a specific resonance, right? That I don't think any other band has been able to produce. And I think that I would classify them as a cross between Led Zeppelin and Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
With a little, I don't know, something else thrown in, because they're just brilliant.
I wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure, but it's something that not a lot of people know of or are really into, because it is very dance music-y, is Pendulum.
Yeah. Is that
They're
like
a drum and bass act.
Okay.
But they do live PA, so they'll be a proper band. They all play their actual instruments. It's a group of 3 guys from the UK. I actually brought them over to Toronto the first time they ever set foot on American soil.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. They were just the second I heard them, it was just like Tool. I was like, this is the shit. It was like there was like nobody in the club that night. And today they are one of the biggest in that sort of scene of drum and bass acts. They are to drum and bass what Tool is to like this new breed of rock music. They're so head and shoulders above anything else that came above it and transcend genres.
So what's the instrumentation? Is it just a drum and bass and a vocal?
Well, no, they have they hire a drummer who's usually the same guy they hire when they do live PAs.
Right.
One guy plays guitar, one guy plays bass, the other guy does vocals and keyboard and guitar.
Right.
And it's like Metallica to 160 beats per minute.
Oh, I got you.
Mixed with that industrial sort of 9 Inch Nails vibe. It is. I think you specifically would really like it. And
I saw 9 Inch Nails. I mean, not 9 Inch Nails.
Dude,
Ministry. That's what I was thinking.
Nice. I've never seen Ministry live. I wanted to.
That's what you were making me think of. Yeah.
I actually had the choice. Again, 1994, the 9 Inch Nails tour that touchdown, or no, 97, touchdown in Toronto. Fantastic fucking concert.
Yeah.
That Trent, holy shit, I could go gay for that man. That guy he was so good when he was young.
He's a genius.
But
man.
Picture this, if you will. The lights go out, the set's done. We're waiting for the encore. People are fucking just chanting, Trent, Trent, Trent. All of a sudden, a little bit of light comes out. Trent slowly walks out, raises his arms. All you hear, he's not singing. All you hear is, I hurt myself today. And fucking David fucking Bowie comes out to do a fucking duet of Hurt with Trent.
Yeah, I've seen that. There's a video of that on YouTube, man.
Dude,
it's sick.
My fucking balls off.
I bet it did. Boys. Yeah, I've seen it, dude. It's indescribable. You have to listen to it, people.
It is. Oh my god. It is on YouTube. So if you're a fan of that, Bowie, 9 Inch Nails, or both, like, dude, check it out, guys. Like, it was something to behold, and to know that I was there, 2 rows behind, beer in my hand, cigarette in my mouth, fucking just like mouth agape, like I was stunned, shell shocked.
I think Bonsacco. I'm gonna try to turn Bonsacco on to Roy Orbison. I think that's an elevation. Well, no, Elvis is great, man. It's like per genre, but Roy Orbison may have the most incredible voice I've ever heard because of his range and his ability to emote. Is just, it's just incomparable. But it's like when it comes to my personal stuff, Tool like rings that bell, man, big time. And but I go through phases of shit too. So.
Oh yeah, of course. You want to just it's like, anything. You just want to change it up a little bit, get a little bit of a different taste in your ears.
Yeah.
I would say one of the best like vocal sound guys like living today is Mike Patton. You've ever heard him do his cover of Poker Face by Lady Gaga?
I don't know who
crazy.
Mike Patton is.
He does some sounds like I didn't even know were possible outside of like beatboxing.
Yeah, see, I don't know who you're talking about. I need to get turned on.
Faith No More?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Lead singer Faith No More, Mr. Bungle.
All right, no, whoa. Hold on. No, Faith No More, I saw them like twice at the local bar where I live, but it was without the singer, all right, before they did the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had a different singer because when they made it, we were like going, "Who's this dude?" That looks like the dude from the Chili Peppers. but that music was excellent too. So,
have you ever heard of Mr. Bungle?
I have not.
Dude, this is guaranteed is going to be right up your alley. I'll send you some links after the show.
Please do.
It's got that killer sort of Frank Zappa vibe.
Sweet. All right, so let's move on from music. Let's do you remember your first erection or the first time you remember being turned on by a female?
Oh hell yeah, dude. God, must have been what, grade 7, grade 6? I don't know. Sitting in class one day, all of a sudden, what the fuck is that? And I so embarrassed. Like when you're that young and like you don't know, like what the hell, to be in a public setting with like people who are your peers, you don't really know what's going on. It just kind of like, hello. And it was so terrifying throughout my school career because you're a dude. Any dude will tell you when you're a teenager, he'll just wake the fuck up whenever he wants to. You don't even need to be aroused. He's just like, yo, dude, what's up? What's up? It's
I
like,
think Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours said it dick gets hard when the wind blows.
Yeah.
All right. So what about the first time with the girl? First time you got you some? Or even just making out, whatever.
Well, the first time Jesus, there've been so many. I was a little bit of a man whore. Didn't like it. Thought it was really, it was just, I'll condense it. It was the wrong person at the wrong time. And I didn't even like them. The first time that I actually was in a relationship and had sex, it was the greatest thing in the world. Things were inconvenient, and we were laughing, and it was just funny and awkward, and the typical cute story of it was awkward, but it was great, and
just good wholesome fun with somebody. Somebody, you love. That's a good thing. All right, so let's see. What about the first time you got fucked up?
Well, it's funny because we've already sort of touched on my love affair with the rave scene, which I started my first one at 13, 14. I didn't touch drugs until late in my 17s, and it was LSD, and I loved LSD. I was like, "Whew, this stuff is mind-boggling, expansive, crazy, cool, fun," and the what we called the sketch, the come down. I turned into a right proper asshole. I was just mean for the sake of being mean. And one day, I must have been 19 at the time. My buddy Adam, he's just like, you know what? I almost said my own name. You know what, Funk? here, take this. And he shoves this joint that he'd been huffing on into my chest, and I took it. He's like, you're a fucking asshole. Take a huff, chill the fuck out. And that started my love affair to this day with Sweet, Sweet Mary Jane, which, you know, I use medicinally and recreationally because I'm not a big drinker. You know, I can appreciate
it's legal where you live too, right?
It is now, yeah.
So,
but you know, everybody, every sort of different substance is different for everybody. And weed was just my jam. It was my thing.
I totally understand that, man. I totally do.
Mm.
You know, it's like booze is usually second or third choice.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm a huge advocate for at the very least decriminalization, but full legalization. I don't care if it's heroin, cocaine, pot, or beer. If the person can handle their shit, you have no right to tell them they can't. And if there's somebody abusing their shit, well then maybe you should get them some help. Or maybe they should get help. And help should be available. It shouldn't be a lifetime prison sentence where even though it might not be a life sentence, it basically is, because then you have that stain on your civil record for the rest of your life, and people will always be prejudiced against you because of it. It's a little known sort of tidbit that I think it's less than 20% of recreational cocaine users are like addicts, because most people can handle their shit. It's, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So these addicts are the ones that, you know, politicians and the media and the law seem to focus on, because that's kind of what sells. It's kind of what gets votes and sound bites and stuff.
Right. Let's see. All right, so let's kind of shift gear again and talk about. You said you were married. How did you meet Mrs.?
Oh, geez, we met several years ago. I want to say it was OkCupid. Funny enough.
Okay.
I've never had a problem meeting women, talking women, you know, picking up women, etc. I'm no Brad Pitt. I'm a decent looking dude, but you know, I know how to talk. I know how to be funny and engage someone, and how to, you know, like read someone. Shut up, Check. Technically, no, we're not married in the traditional sense. We are eligible for common law, but with COVID and some other personal family stuff that's been going on the last year and a half, we put our marriage plans on, like official marriage plans,
right,
you know, going to City Hall and all that, on the back burner. But, you know, we met and it was kismet. It was kind of like, wow, how did I not know that this woman existed, living in the same city? We went to the same parties, the same raves, but we never met one another until, you know, several years ago, and just hit it off immediately.
So do y'all have any kids?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so. All right, so this is the point where we do shift gears now and get into aesthetics. All right, so what is your favorite horror film, horror movie director, horror author? Let's talk about horror a little bit. Horror film.
Well, I had an early love affair with King. You know, there's the classics like It and The Stand. Really loved the Gunslinger series, the Dark Tower series.
Right.
But I'd say like some of my favorites are John Carpenter, like The Thing.
Classic.
Guillermo del Toro, whose modern interpretation of horror is just fantastic. It's fairy tale horror.
Yeah.
Just great visuals, great storytelling.
Yes.
Gets you as a viewer involved and invested in characters.
He's a communist, but he's a master storyteller, man.
Yeah, man, you got to separate the artist from the art.
It's so hard,
you know.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know. I've got a degree in art too, so.
Because like Stephen King, that guy's a total dick.
Yeah, no shit. But he's definitely written some masterwork himself. So you're absolutely right. You know, talking about Tool and Keenan. You know, he's definitely not a right leaning person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, all right. So let's move on. What about sci-fi? Yeah, because that seems to be a thing where we really first connected on, right?
Yeah, with that Star Trek stuff.
Right. So talk about sci-fi a little bit.
Oh boy. So as a kid, I had one of the very first home releases of Star Wars on Betamax. And, you know, Sunday in the 80s, there wasn't a lot on TV. If, you know, your friends were doing stuff with the fam or whatnot, you're kind of stuck at home. I would watch the trilogy at least once every Sunday for a good, 8 years straight. So that sort of led me into reading some of the now legend stuff, the novels. And like I said, you know, getting into Philip K. Dick very early on, Asimov very early on, really just nurtured that seedling of love and lust for the scientific, the hard sci-fi of stuff. And one of the new shows, The Expanse, I gush over.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it when they're able to take something that's less of the sci-fi fantasy of like Star Trek or the sci-fi adventure of Star Wars and do something that's, you know, quite possible.
Oh yeah, it's like they take the idea that you know would be the germination for the Star Trek, and they realize how people will fuck it up anyway, right? And so there's this human element to the whole story. There's like characters you actually give a shit about. It's really well done. I think it's the best thing that's been out. But I was going to ask you, do you have a particular Philip K. Dick adaptation that you like?
That's a tough one. I know it's probably not very popular. I liked the interpretation of iRobot with Will Smith.
Yeah, that's Asimov.
Oh,
which is good.
Yeah, that was a brain fart. I'm like,
I feel you. It's like an example for me would be like a Scanner Darkly. I really love that. Good.
Yes, the rotoscope.
Yeah, well done. Yes.
Oh, lends so well to that sort of sci-fi.
Well, it was kind of a drug based. Yeah, it's kind of drug based. You know, the company was creating the drug and the cure.
And there was a recent series on, I want to say, Prime Video, short stories inspired by Philip K. Dick. Had some really good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. I haven't watched all this.
Shit.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he inspires things that people take for granted in the media like today, like with Black Mirror.
Yeah.
People love Black Mirror, but you can draw direct parallels to Philip K. Dick's sort of style of making that sort of futuristic quote unquote utopia, which is really a dystopia.
Right. Dick is really good. Sometimes he can be really, really hard to read because, schizophrenia. But also it's like, borderline genius. It's like, there was what was it? There were, I was talking to somebody, it was a while back, where we were talking about the possibility of schizophrenia just being able to sense other dimensions, right? Anyway, so that was like we kind of got deep on that. I was like, dude, I don't know. Really stoner kind of shit.
Right.
All right. So next, let's see. We've what about? All right. So what about video games?
Oh, that's another one of my jams. I've been a World of Warcraft player since the beginning.
Right.
And again, just my personality, nose to the grind, was in some top and world guilds for several years, playing, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Really super into it. But you can't really keep that up and function as a human being. So I kind of took a step back. These days I run my own guild. We do stuff in our own time. We set aside several hours a week, spread throughout 2 days, 2 nights of the week. And when we play serious and we play to win. But other than that, we kind of, just like have fun with it and enjoy it because it's a video game. Like things like Destiny 2, shooters. I play, even though I have this love-hate relationship with Overwatch, I still play the fuck out of Overwatch. Also, like, I'm a big gamer. A lot of the big focus on my early stuff on YouTube was doing things like video game reviews and streams and talking about it and doing, stuff for me and Elwin. When Cyberpunk came out, she couldn't play it. So she got to live vicariously through me. And God, hun, I don't even remember how long I went, but it was like a 36-hour straight stream the first night. Or it was 24-hour stream the first night. Right. YouTube, which I didn't know, cuts you off at 12 hours, so I lost half the stream. And I learned from that mistake, and the subsequent streams were like 6 hours and 8 hours, but so I'll do that stuff on occasion just for her. If anybody else wants to watch it, great, but I do it for her because she's really into video games, but she'll admit to you straight up, like, she's not the greatest. Again, it's that juxtaposition. I'm like really, really good at spatial awareness and fast twitch muscle, really good at these video games. So she'll sit there behind me and watch me play Destiny 2 for 2 hours and just be like, enjoy the game as a spectator. I love me some video games.
You do.
I do.
What about anime? You got any favorite anime series?
Fucking anime weebs.
Well, it's like
I have a complicated relationship with anime because to me it's just a style.
Right.
So I don't go around saying I like anime because most of it is trash. To me, I really don't like it. A lot of it is the stuff you think is very weebish. I don't really like, but it's a medium like any other, and something like Record of Lotus War, very beautiful, very D&D inspired anime, or anything. Most of the stuff from Ghibli, like Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, Princess Mononoke, very beautiful stories, very like fluid stories. Like the entire thing is just being painted in front of your eyes on canvas with sound and feeling and the emotions it evokes. Very beautiful, powerful stuff sometimes. And then there's stuff that's just, fun. Robotech, Vampire Hunter D, a lot of the classics.
You ever seen any of the Appleseed stuff?
When I was a kid, yeah. I don't remember it too much.
It's got some really nice...
La Blue Girl.
Yeah. I watched
Do you know of Rotsukudochi?
No. I'm not a weird dude. It's like...
Whoa.
real picky. Whoa.
Did you just insinuate that I'm a weeb dude?
No. I was answering your question as...
I'm just fucking with you.
I'm not a weeb. It's okay. It's just like Uzi and I are right now. All right, so we're catching up on Berserk, the series, because I've seen the prequels, and now we're on season 2. Supposedly there's more that haven't been translated or something anyway. So, but that's a story that's holding me. There's been others that I've tried to watch in the name of reviewing, and there's just some stuff, man, that was just pure shit. I couldn't watch it.
These days, I kind of rely on Sora Luna, the Harry Channel, Geodes to sort of recommend animes to me, and they know me well enough at this point that they'll tell me, "Hey, this is pretty good. I think that you'll like it. It's not weebish. It's just a good story being told through that medium."
Yeah. Well, if I die, if I'm a good boy, I think I'm gonna come back as one of Sora Luna's dogs. So,
ain't that the truth?
Yeah. No, she's one of my favorite people. I got people out there that are just
she's great.
Yeah, thumbs up. And she's Canadian. Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, man. I don't know an asshole Canadian yet. I mean, I haven't really. No, really. It's like I respect people that respect other people, right?
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
So
I'm more into things like Korean or Japanese or Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for good kung fu movie. 36 Chambers of Shaolin, Jet Li, Legend, Hero.
What about Korean?
Amazing. And then Korean horror, dude.
Oh
my god!
Yes.
Some of the stuff that's been on Netflix recently.
Yeah, it's
so cool.
Yes, there's some really good stuff out there, man. Train to Busan is a really fun, good movie.
The first one was really good. I liked it.
Yeah, now there's a cartoon that's the prequel to that. That's really good too. I haven't seen the second one yet. Is it out? I didn't even know it was out.
It's not as good. It's a different story. But definitely remember to DM me that the name of the precursor animation or whatever.
It's on. I know it's on Shudder. I'll get you the name of that. Yeah, because it's kind of that similar animation to Scanner Darkly. So, it's really well done. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So, what about do you have scars, tattoos, or piercings you want to share with us?
I've had a couple piercings that are no longer pierced. But funny enough, at about I want to say 8 years old, I had a friend who lived just a block away, and bye mom, I'm going to Richard's house, and I start walking down the street going to Richard's house, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, heads up!" And I turn, and the kid who lived across the street from me threw a rock the size of like my fist, thinking he was cute, and it cracked me in the top of the skull. So I've got this big scar that goes from my top of my right eye hairline back all the way to like the crown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the big scar.
Split your head open.
Yeah. It was funny because like I was like, okay, this doesn't feel right. I turn around, walk back into my house, get in the front door. I'm calm. I'm not crying.
Mm-hmm.
Mom! What? Come here! What do you want? Just fucking... Excuse me. Just fucking come here! And she's all in a huff. What do you... Oh my fucking god! And she sees me crimson masked and all. And she's freaking the fuck out. I'm like, Mom, chill the fuck out. Get the keys, get your purse, get in the car, drive me to the goddamn hospital.
Please?
And, she snaps out of it. We get it taken care of. But it was funny because I was being the adult there, and, it was obviously shock.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm pretending I'm some tough piece of shit, because I'm not. I'm a bit of a pussy sometimes.
Right.
Work in the kitchens, work in construction to put myself through design school. Got a lot of, calloused hand. And then I had a double helix in my left ear. So 2 helix piercings that actually had a double helix that went through both holes.
Interesting.
Which no longer is there. I took that out when I was actually kind of fell out when I was doing construction and never cared to put it back in. And I also had one that was a little bit more risque at the, the webbing at the base of the shaft between your balls and your sausage.
Mm.
That was pierced, and it was a ring that would go around the shaft.
Wow.
Just ornamental. There was no function in it.
Sounds...
And one day it kind of got stuck in this chick that I was with.
Ugh.
And we had a hell of a hard time trying to get untangled. And when we finally did, I took it out and I threw it. I flushed it down the toilet. I was like, this is fucking
crazy.
Fuck this. This was stupid. Why did I ever get this stupid thing? You know, you do stupid things when you're a teenager and you want to look cool and I'm not going to lie, you want to peacock a little bit so the ladies, pay a little bit more attention to you, and, they'll remember a cock with a ring around it, or a Prince Albert or something weird like that.
That's right. That is T-Rex. I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Someone has DM'd me and distracted me. I'm back on it though, dude.
Those rat bastards. Don't they know you're trying to make a living over here?
Yeah, no shit. It's like the thing I did last night got flagged as the QAnon thing, and I got hit. We went through some teaching stuff from New York City from 2018 and 2019 of Black Lives Matters curriculum based stuff, and they didn't like that at all. So anyway, yeah, it is. So all right, and this is the people get your questions queued up, and that means to just go ahead and load them, multiple question marks. But we're gonna talk about if you could know the complete and absolute answer to one question, what would that be?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Right.
Dark matter. I'd like to finally know what the fuck it is.
Indeed. That's actually a good answer. What job would you be terrible at? I'm going to ask you this again.
Being a counselor. I'm not very sympathetic. Like, it's kind of odd. I have a little bit of sociopathy. Like, I understand emotions. I have emotions. I can express emotions. But sometimes it's irrelevant to the larger picture of logic. Elwyn and I joke, like, I'm her little Vulcan. I tend to be more on the logical side of things. And so sometimes when somebody's having an emotional problem that can easily be remedied through logic or practicality, I'll be like, okay, pull yourself to fucking together. I don't care about your emotions. Let's look at this logically and buckle down. And you know what? Sometimes that works for people. Sometimes people just need to hear the hard truths to get them out of that funk. But sometimes, and this is where the sociopathy comes into play, it's the wrong time because they're vulnerable or they're not ready to look at something objectively or logically and deal with an issue. Sometimes there are times where you just need to cry or you just need to be emotional, and I don't really fully grasp that.
All right, so what would you say is your spirit animal?
Oh, the fucking honey badger, bro.
Okay.
I don't give no fucks.
All right, cool. All right, so this is what I call my homage to James Lipton. I'm going to use he actually took this from a dude, a French man named Pivot. So, but I call the pivot questions or the Lipton questions. So, And they always start the same 10 questions. He would ask this to everybody. He did this great interview show with celebrities. And then we get in depth and stuff. And he would ask every one of them this question or this list of questions. And it's kind of like a rapid fire, rapid response kind of thing. It's like, what's your favorite word?
Fuck.
What's your least favorite word?
No. Yes.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh, brains, intelligence, passion.
What turns you off?
Apathy.
What's your favorite curse word?
You cock-gobbling thunder cunt.
All right. What sound or noise do you love?
I don't think it'd be appropriate for a family show. The sound women make. Just women.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Women.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Physicist.
What profession other than your own? What profession would you not like to do?
Sanitation.
All right. And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Well, I'm a militant anti-theist, so I would tell him to go fuck himself. I'm still right, and kick him in the nuts.
Uh-oh. Indeed.
How explosive would that be to an atheist? You get to the pearly gates and you're like, well, shit, I was wrong.
Yeah, it's like in college they tell me this is all bullshit. So moving on. All right, so we've got I see some question marks. All right, so we will move to the first one saying Kirk or Picard.
Cisco.
Ooh. Nice choice. That would be mine too, man.
He was the warrior captain. I respect Kirk. I immensely have a lot of respect and affection toward Picard as the diplomat.
Yeah, Kirk is a Chad, right? And Picard is the master diplomat.
But then you have Cisco, who's the broken, rebuilt warrior.
Yeah, and I love his choices. The way he chooses things. All right, so if you were any Mortal Kombat character, who would it be, and why isn't it Chun-Li? Johnny asks.
Mortal Kombat character. I'm trying to remember my Mortal Kombat characters.
Why are you gay?
Who says?
Scorpion.
Liu Kang. Scorpion. Yes. That's
sure, why not?
I play with Scorpion.
I was more of a Street Fighter kid.
I play as Scorpion. Oh, wow. Let's see. All right. I see Goldman wants to know, what is your favorite color?
Green.
What is the purpose of your quest?
Crush my enemies, see them driven before me, and hear the lamentations of their women.
And what is the airspeed of an unladen swallow?
76 miles per hour.
See? Can he debate
13
that?
miles per hour.
No. Exactly. They can go the very... I like that answer.
The really good ones get up to 88 miles per hour.
You
just can't see them anymore because they're gone. Gotta go back in time.
All right, so who would you say? All right, this is at the point. All right, so we're back at the YouTube as a subject matter. Let's see. Who would you say is a criminally undersubscribed YouTuber that you watch? Who would you like to promote?
Not going to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, even though I think the work you do is criminally undersubbed and great, I'd probably have to say Gasly. His craft and his sense of humor, his style, the animations that he and Phil and his crew put together are masterclass. And I really, really, really hope that the stuff that he's going through now to get his show produced, big, like mainstream, really goes through, because I think it's one of those things that would take off real easily and explode like what's that shit cartoon everyone loves? Like Rick and Morty or something.
Right. Yeah, and I don't disagree at all. And as a matter of fact, he did this show and it was fantastic. And I recommend it. Yeah, and it was almost like 3 hours. Yeah, we got into it. It was good.
The boy can just go. I don't know if you ever watch Fred Power Hour on Saturdays, but
oh yeah,
man, that boy can just go and go.
I've logged hours with that dude, man. Entertainment wise. All right. What about YouTubers way overhyped? Somebody you don't get?
Oh, there's so many of them, dude. So many. Like,
who do you want taken off the table right now?
I don't want anybody like taken off, but I want them exposed.
I'm kidding, man.
Kind of like the shitbags they are, like E3.
Okay.
Or God, what's his name? Jacksepticeye.
Okay.
Or PewDiePie. Like any of these guys who have these, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not a fucking child. That they're just, it seems like all it is like dick and poop and fart jokes, and that's their entire shtick. And being loud and crazy all the time, and hey, I've got ADD, watch me, and people fucking eat it up. It's trash. It's like watching, Maury Povich or Ricky Lake. It's bottom barrel, but the ratings are there, so it's hard to argue with.
Well, Ricky Lake gets viewed. It's like there's definitely an audience for that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. What will finally break the internet?
Social media. That's why when you ask me, when you have guests on, everybody knows that you shill their Twitter or whatever. I don't really. My actual real life persona is almost non-existent in the online world, and I like it that way. I learned very early on the power of the internet, and I don't want people to laud that power over me, and I don't want companies like Facebook and Twitter and whatever to steal my personal information and sell it. And they can take it and use it for their own devices. I wouldn't consider that stealing, but when they take it without compensating you and then profit off of it, I consider that stealing, and I think that has to end. And I think things like Twitter, it's pretty much politically gotten us into the up shit's creek without a paddle that we're in these days, like politically and socially. It's given the insane people that have escaped the asylum control over the asylum because they're the vocal minority.
Indeed. It's happening. Let's see. So all right, we're kind of back full circle, and before we wrap, I did want to ask two things. Becca will get mad at me if I don't ask you this. Do you have any bizarre collections, or I just ask any collections?
Well, I play Warhammer 40K, so I've got a couple of collections, a couple different armies. I collect, which has been
you paint and everything.
Immensely. Oh yeah. I love to paint, and Inquisitor 8.1 from the Minions and we jam a lot about Warhammer. And so, I collect Star Wars memorabilia and stuff. So, like, Elwyn gave me, like, how many was it, babe? Like 8 lightsabers.
Man. All right, so
and hats, ball caps.
Duck Dog wants to know borscht or Golumpki.
Golumpki.
Oh wow.
For sure. I'm not a big borscht person.
Gotcha. Beets, I don't know. I can't find a reason for them.
Yeah, they're kind of weird.
Yeah, they are weird. Anyway, and so all right, what about content wise? Are you looking at doing? Firing, back up, individually or?
Yeah. Like I said, there was the whole near the starting of COVID, Genti Maxi, and I had a show called The Snow Mexicans.
Yeah.
But because of
right.
real life stuff that was going on, my health and stuff, I had to take a step back from doing a consistent scheduled YouTube stuff. I'm currently kind of trying to figure out a new show. Similar kind of format, just like in a comedic, interesting take on, just stuff going on in news and media and entertainment, and just having a good time with it. That mostly centers around Canadian side of stuff, because there's not a lot of, there's plenty of American stuff, there's plenty of British stuff. There isn't a whole lot that I find that I like from Canadians. Maybe I don't find them because the algorithm is garbage. But pretty soon, as soon as I can find somebody I mesh with really well as a co-host, probably starting up that show again. But other than that, just random game streams, or I occasionally stream our Warcraft raids as sort of just fun stuff to do.
Nice. All right, so it's a tradition to shill your channel, and a final word for the chat, and everybody watching. Just what do you want to say to them?
How dare you?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fill the dead air. Like I'm not too sure. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, like, heading over to my channel, giving me a sub, it would help me a little bit in the numbers. But I don't really ask for that like now, because I've really kind of, like I said, I've been taking a step back. There's no reason to sub to me because I'm not working on anything right now. But in the future, who knows? Maybe there'll be more stuff. You can catch me on Minions Saturday nights. I'm a regular Saturday nights on Minions of the Zoo. Other nights I'll pop in here and there, have fun with those folks. Saturdays, you can catch me on the odd Star Trek stream with you and BP. You should always, everybody, if you haven't, you should sub to BP because she's funny. She has a lot of fun content. Blind Press, yes. A lot of fun content. She has a lot of good one-off shows like the Star Trek stream, where we just nerd up to Star Trek for an hour each week.
And she is a Canadian, another nice person.
She's a fellow Canadian from the same region as me. And speaking of being Canadian, every other week she does a show with Skep Talk on Wednesdays, but the alternating weeks it's me, and we do Canadian Wednesdays when permitted, because I've got, like I said, there's some health issue stuff going on, and sometimes I just can't make it. So I try to make it when I can, but then we have a really, sort of more focused on what's been going on in Canada for the last 2 weeks, that we can just face palm at and go, what the fuck is up with our country? Jesus Christ.
Pacalo's in the chat, echoing a similar sentiment. Yeah. He can play the pan flute almost as good as Zamfir. So that's a joke, everybody. What's up, Pincalo?
Oh man, I love Pincalo.
So all right, for me, I've got tomorrow. I'll be with Becca Fairley, and we're going to be talking about Poland or East Germany. I really haven't pulled the trigger on what I want to do with that yet. And
nice.
Next week, the person in this chair across from me will be The Object of Hate from the Insomnus Network. So you want to check that stuff out. Yeah. Keep your eyes open. I'm going to be doing, we'll be trying some, I've been cross-pollinating in other fields. So there's going to be a new crop of people that I'll be tapping into. It's after 134 times, it's like I've got a list of specific people, and most of them have turned me down, but I'm still asking, and on that note, hell, let's get out of here, dude. You want to say goodbye?
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Catch me. I might be over hanging out with Becca later on tonight, so about 8:30ish Central.